Hello and welcome back. In this video we're going to set up chefs and we're going to do so with TDD. So here are the requirements for chef. We're going to go ahead and create a chef test. So under test folder, models, right click, new file, and we're going to create chef_test.rb. And over here, require test helper. And then class chef test subclass from active support : test case. So the first method we're going to do is the setup method. So setup, and we're gonna say at chef equals chef.new, and then name, we're gonna just give it a name. I'll say Masroor. And email, because those are the two attributes. Actually, it's not name, it's chef name. Sorry about that. Chef name, Masroor. Email, we're going to say masroor@example.com. Okay, so there's the setup method. So what is the first test? The first test, let's look at our requirements. Chef name should be present. But before we do that, we should check for validity. So we're going to do test should be valid, do. And we're going to say assert at chef.valid, question mark. There you go. A Rails test. This will ensure that the model's there and it's correctly hooked up. All right, so no failure, so it's working. Perfect. Now, the next one is going to be name should be present, test. Name should be present. You can say chef name over here if you like. Okay. At chef name equals empty, and then assert not at chef.valid. Okay, let's try it. Should fail. There you go. It says expected true to be nil or false. So it was expecting this to fail, but it passed. So let's go ahead and add the validation. I'm going to say validates name presence true. Now, while we're at it, we should put a maximum length for name, right? We don't want people to be able to enter in like 100 character names. So we're going to give it a length validation, length. And let's say maximum, we'll say 30. Okay, save that. So let's build a test for it over here. We're going to say test name should be less than 30 characters. Do at chef.chef name equals a times 31. Assert not at chef.valid. Let's make sure this passes. Since we already put in the maximum requirement, this should pass. Okay, we have some errors. All right, let's see what it says. Undefined method name. Okay, so I must have written name somewhere where I should have said chef name. So let's see. Where did I do that? Let's check our chef. Oh, validates name here. Chef name. Validates chef name. Presence true. Save that. Rails test. Perfect. It's working. Great. So the validation's working now. Let's move on to the next one. Let's look at our requirements. Chef name email should be present. Let's try that now. So test email should be present. Do. And we're going to say at chef.email equals, we're going to leave it empty. Assert not at chef.valid. Save that. Sure this fails. Okay, there you go. Expected true to be nil or false. So let's add the validation. Our chef model right here validates email presence true. And while we're at it, let's enforce the length validation. Maximum, we'll say 255 characters. Okay, and let's build a test for it. Right here. Test email should not be too long. Do. Oops. And add chef.email equals a times 255. Actually, a times 2, let's say 45. And then plus, we'll just say at example.com. So that'll add up to more than 255. Assert not at chef.valid. All right, let's run these two tests. They both should pass. Perfect, and they passed because we already built the validation for it. Let's look at our next requirement. Email address should be valid format. Okay, so let me make some space here. There you go. Test email should be correct format. Do. Actually, email should accept correct format. All right. So let's build an array of correct format email addresses. So we'll say something like valid emails equals, and we're going to use this method to create an array. So %w, and then open square bracket and close square bracket. And within it, whatever we put in, it'll be turned to an array. So we're going to say user at example.com. Since that's correct format, we're going to say masroor at gmail.com. That is not my email address, by the way. This is a test. Then we're going to say m.first at yahoo.ca. Then we're going to say John plus Smith at co.uk.org. Okay, so these should all be valid. So we're going to say valid underscore emails dot each. We're going to iterate through this and insert them as email address and ensure that it's valid. So valid emails each, we'll say valids, and then at chef.email equals valids. Okay, and then assert at chef.valid because it should be valid, and then within quotes pound and within curly braces valids.inspect should be valid. Actually, this quote, there you go. Okay, so basically whatever is in there should be valid. All right, now what is the problem here? Valid emails dot each. Why do I have, oh whoops, each do valids because it's a do block. All right, and then this should be, there you go, and there is an end missing here. There you go. Okay, perfect. Save that. So this should accept correct format, and there's no reason why this should fail. So let me run Rails test. Perfect, it's accepting it. Now what is correct email format, and how are we going to test that? We're going to test that by using regex. Okay, we're gonna give it a correct format to accept for email addresses, and then we're gonna use that to test for the format. So if you look online, there are different kinds of regex out there, and the comparison, first of all, if you don't know what regex is, it's regular expressions, okay? So regex. If you type in regex, you'll see different kind of regular expressions. Ruby has its specific type of regular expression that it uses, and you can go to this rubular.org. Whoops, actually, let me just see where it is. Rubular.com. Okay, here you can test out regular expressions. This is how it works. You give it the regular expression, and then you enter in a string to see if it matches, okay? If it fits that format. And if it does, it passes. If it doesn't, it fails. It's really that simple. So we're going to test the format with a valid email regex. That's a shorter format for testing validity of email address formats. There's, of course, a long format that's very long, and we're not going to do that. We're going to use the short form. And the short form looks something like this. I'm going to use a constant here because this doesn't change or won't change. So valid underscore email underscore regex equals, and I'm going to copy paste this. You can grab this from the next text lecture, or you can just look this up online for Ruby, or you can also grab it from the GitHub repository of this course. So there you go. There's the regex. So now, since we're using this valid email regex, I'm actually gonna Command X copy this and put it above this right here. Command V. Okay, there's a valid email regex. Then validates email presents true length maximum 255. We already have that. I'm gonna add, so put a comma after it, and then over here I'm gonna say format within curly brace with valid email regex. So basically it's gonna test with this format and make sure that it matches. Okay, it does a string comparison and make sure that this format is okay. Now again, this isn't the complete or 100% accurate valid email regex. There's a massive one. We're not going to use that. This is good enough for most cases. Save that. Let's run it. And this should ensure that our test still passes with all these email addresses. Perfect. It's still working. Great. Now it should also reject invalid email addresses. So test should reject invalid addresses. Do. And we're going to say invalid emails. Let's do the same thing we did for the valid emails. So %W within square brackets. I'm going to say Masroor add example with no .coms. Then I'm going to say Masroor at example com, which is also incorrect. I'm going to say Masroor.name at gmail. Without a com. I'm going to say Joe at bar plus foo.com. That should also be invalid. Okay, so there's a good amount of invalid addresses right there. So let's go ahead and insert these in a do block. So invalid underscore emails dot each do. And here I'm gonna say invalids, okay, at chef.email equals invalids, and then assert not at chef.valid, and then a helpful display message, pound within curly braces. I'm gonna say invalids.inspect should be invalid in case it is not. Okay, all right, and the do block. Save that. Okay, this should still pass because I have already given it this. Where's my chef? There you go. I've already given it this format, so it should still pass. So let's see, Rails test. Perfect, it's still passing. Great, so it's rejecting the invalid email addresses. Perfect. What's the next one? The next one should be email should be unique and case insensitive. Okay, so let's build that. Test email should be unique. Do. And then test email should be case insensitive. Do. Okay, so to test email should be unique, let's create a duplicate chef. Duplicate chef equals at chef.dupe. We're going to run this .dupe method, which will simply copy the chef, okay? And then we're going to try to save it. Duplicate chef.email equals at chef.email.upcase. Okay, then add chef.save, and then assert not duplicate chef.valid. Okay, so basically we're creating a duplicate of the chef, and then we're assigning the email to chef's email and upcase, and then we're saying chef.save, assert not duplicate chef.valid. Okay. Okay, so there's a failure, expected true to be nil or false. Okay, so basically this went through and it saved the chef even though it was expecting it to fail. So let's add this uniqueness constraint. So we're gonna go to chef right here. Let's go ahead and add uniqueness true, and I have to put a comma after format. There you go. So uniqueness true. So let's try that now. Okay, it's still one failure. It's still saying email should be unique. And why is this still failing even though I put the uniqueness constraint? It's still failing because I have now, see, I've made it upcase. So my email here for my setup test case is lowercase. So now it's case sensitive, all right? So I want to make it case insensitive, all right? So I'm doing that in this one test, even though I wrote it down twice here. So should be unique and case insensitive. I'm gonna put it there and I'll change this test case, all right? So I'm gonna save that, and so let's add this case insensitive to my chef model, okay? Uniqueness true. When I say uniqueness, it already implies that I'm testing for uniqueness. What I need to do is simply put this in curly braces and say case sensitive false, okay? So it's no longer case sensitive. So it automatically tests for uniqueness and case sensitive. So now let's run the test. There you go. Everything's passing. Great. And we will continue this discussion in the next video.